Yeah, they may be joined.
Okay, right. We'll start 1 second. Is it audible to all of you from my end? Hello?
Yes.
It's audible.
Yeah, right. I thought that it is.
Um, I have a question. I missed yesterday's class, so I was just wondering what I missed.
Yesterday we did not have session.
Oh,
And last Friday, last thing, what we had, we are working on a conditional
list of items. That is when user clicks on particular button, it has to open, or else again it
Okay.
has to. That is what we are continuing now here today.
Okay. So from Saturday we don't have we
Mhm,
class.
mhm. No, no, we don't have.
Okay.
Let us wait. Once that output display, we can start our program. Just wait for 1 or 2 seconds. It will be showing an output, and we can write it further. So here, if you observe in the code, we have written in the format of inline. Sorry, yes, inline conditional, or we can say conditional operator concept, where a particular property which we have given in the very beginning defaultly as false, and if it is equivalent to true, then it has to show, or else it has to show the statement we don't have any data. So we are about to create the concept of toggling effect. Then, okay, hope the output is displaying.
Ramakrishna, I can't hear your voice.
I'm waiting still for this. It's taking time. That's why once the output if we see, then we can write a program. That's what even I'm waiting. Okay, something else finally to show you. Yes, we are into this point on click and we are about to write a program. Sorry, we are about to write a method. Now let us write. So user is clicking on this button right now and user is clicking, it has to show. Again, user clicks on it, it has to hide. That is what we can say toggling effect. So to create the toggling effect, okay, I'm just writing here this dot toggle person's handler. As you have given a call to toggle person's handler, okay, then write the definition for this toggle person's handler and that equals to opening closing parenthesis where we can write an what you can say arrow mark inside this. Now for each and every time whatever the value of the show person we are having here, from this we are taking into the condition and checking right now. So whatever we are having at that moment, we have to revert it. So how we can do it? Defaultly it is what you can say false right now. Then when user clicks on it, we want to see the results. So write a const something a local constant and that equals to this dot state dot show persons. What happens if show persons is having false? That is just you are assigning to the variable first point. Once you have to and assign as it is, then by using a set state here show persons colon a property which is written right now, you are using a logical not symbol and then does show. Then the meaning of this statement is if does this show is having false, that you are changing to true, and once it is assigning to the show persons now became as true, yes, it has to show an output. It is going to display. Let us wait. Right now. Okay, defaultly we don't have we don't have any data about persons. When we click on it, it's taking time, I think, to put it slowly. Hmm. Okay, anyway, the results are displaying now. When user clicks on it, the results are displaying. Now show persons became true. That's why it is displaying. When user again clicking on the button, it has to hide. Show persons became false. For each and every that is, if user is interested, wants to see, otherwise don't want to see. That is what an action we have created here. Then, and if you observe in the return statement itself, you have made it a functional part and total output part along with this. We don't want to make this complication here itself. Of course, it's not a complication, or we can say make it something a direct, a single statement output. So throw this concept, throw this functionality outside of this written statement. Now, how you can do it? You can do. Now, let us take in the render, let persons and that equals to null. For time being, I'm just taking a temporary variable and keeping that, sorry, assigning that value null. First point. Second thing, copy this block which we have the results of persons, and in the render write this dot state dot show persons. If show persons is true, then enter into the block and display that one. Okay. Okay. Then else copy that one else block and set here. Okay, you have written true block and else block successfully. But how you are going to display right now? For that purpose, what we are going to do means once it is getting true, you are entering into the block now. Here, line number 52, which we have to persons, a local variable, and that equals to opening closing parentheses. Inside this, that is a total set of statements are assigning as a single value to the variable. It is my point. What I'm saying here is a total statements that you are just set as a single value to the person's variable. The same way else block also persons and that equals to opening closing parentheses and then just set these statements like in the very beginning we have done when we have discussed about the concept of decision making statements. We have written that outputs are all under one variable and then that we have given a call in the return statement. So what you can do here, it just can give a call simply persons because persons is holding either true statement or else statements right now. So when user clicks on it, same action instead of that is maintaining a set of statements at return block, we just pushed it into a functional part and setting either true or false, we can say decision making statements. Okay, now we are reducing that statements, meaning as of now, in the beginning, we have set three records. That's why we have given three components explicitly and accessing its components values. But we can't say only three records have to be maintained in the application now. It has to be updated with n number of records. So in that case, how can you do? That is what now we are going to do. Of course, at the concept of a loop, while loop, we have discussed that point. There is a built-in method which is called map, right? A map is a built-in method which uses to group all the records, sorry, which use it to extract all the records from the given object. Okay, now how we can do it? Let us write. In that div, yes, remove the total statements. Then opening, closing curly braces inside this. State dot persons. Right now, from the persons only we are fetching. From the persons using the built-in method map of extracting one by one. So making something a temporary as a person. And here person. And then the name of that person. Right now, two properties we have. From the group of persons, that first record is extracted into person. So person dot name. And age. Person dot age. So as of now, we have three records and that are displaying okay. And then if we adding a new record name and age, then as you have added one more record, then that is also displaying right now. So we have given an option that user can, sorry, okay, user can see the results whatever it is added. Here we are adding a records and that we are retrieving now with a single statement of a component where from the from the property of persons using a map built-in method you are extracting one by one, right? That is, and now so we have added, we have delete, we have display. Now when user wants to delete a particular icon, sorry, particular record, then user by user clicking, of course we don't have separately button for it, we don't want to create a separate button. Are you sure you want to delete something else? That means there are group of records and user wants to delete a Williams or Joseph or Samuel or any or all of items. So okay, if I'm the user, if I want to delete a Joseph, when I click on it, Joseph record, it has to be removed, or else you can create separate link, that is later issue. Finally, the concept you have to understand, when user is taking an action, we want to create an action part of deleting at that particular record. How that particular record can be deleted. So let us write. To create the concept of deleting or something else, first of all, you have to you have to create the clicking functionality. So write a property and that equals to with opening closing curly braces saying that this dot delete person's handler of index. We have discussed in the very beginning when we started of creating a square bracket and placing a records. Each record is having its own index right now. So you are referring with its index. When you are referring with its index, first of all, from the persons, it has to fetch that index because without an index, you can't directly pass. So what you can do is in previously we have only one parameter as a one parameter and now we are passing two parameters. That is from the group of persons you are extracting person at the same time index also. So when you are extracting from the group of persons, first person 0, that index will be second 1 and 2 and 3. So like this. Okay. When you click now 0, 1, 2, 3 like this index we are giving a call. When we click on particular indexing, that index has to pass maybe 0 or 1 or 2 something to the method. So let us write that method delete person's handler. Delete person's handler and that equals to your passing that index now. Okay, take some argument saying that person index. Then here you are writing concept of deleting which with the with the built-in function of splice. So now first of all what we can do is let us first write a const, make it a local variable to the delete person's handler and that equals to from the state dot persons. Meaning of this one is all the records that you are just assigning to your local variable first point. Then persons dot splice. A splice is a built-in function which is saying that the index and how many records it has to delete. We want to delete that particular index, that particular record only, not more than that. So as we have fetch a person index from the delete person's handler method function call, we are giving a call and saying that that particular one delete it. After deleting, you have to adjust. Meaning, let me tell you like this. For example, you are having there are four values. Correspondingly, that 0, 1, and 2. right now. Sorry, 3. You have removed 45. So obviously it has to adjust this one and no need of this one, right? To adjust this index at the same time, the value we have to reset the properties. So to reset, we are having a set state again. A set state from the local variable you are setting to the property of persons. The meaning of this statement is right hand side is a point of a constant what we have and then some action. And after deleting that particular record, the rest of the records are adjusting and resetting to the main, what you can say, state of persons. So now let us write. For example, if I click on third record, that is index passed to the definition of delete persons handler and that is deleted. If I click on second, if I click on Samuel, if I click on something, any, and that gone away. Records are not there. Of course, just temporary purpose only. It's just once you refresh, then again it will display all the results. Okay. So finally, we got a clarity here. When user is clicking, it is taking to the definition of delete persons handler with the concept of particular person index, and that is just checking here and deleting with the built-in method, what you can say, splice. After deleting, you are just resetting with its index and at the same time the values adjustment. Okay, so then along with this, here a group of values are there. We have discussed at ES6 immutable, we can say with three triple dots referring, that's we can say spread attributes. We even can also go with this at the same time as a group of records that we are having. So we even can also write a square bracket referring all the records spread attributes concept. Then now working with the concept of lists and its keys. So far, whatever we have done is just, just what we have done is a point of what you can say indexing through its default index 0, 1, 2, 3 we have done. We even can also set our own IDs, or else we can say keys. So let me write, for example, you can make it even an ID or as a key in a string format also. Either you can go with the integer or you even can go with the string first point. Second thing, and these should be unique. So let us do one thing. Let us write maybe B2 C3 D4. These are just I want to set as a unique values or keys. Now we want to even access these IDs or keys in the output. So just add one more thing that key and that equals to here from the person dot ID right now. Okay. Now, in the beginning, of course, not in the beginning, in the previous examples, we have created the concept of two-way binding. Of course, only one, so only for one particular record we have done, right? Now, we are going to create the concept of two-way binding for all the records. First, we have done adding and deleting, and now updating or editing. Retrieving anyway, we are getting now. So adding, retrieving, deleting, and updating now we are going to do. If I type something in here, that has to be updated. That record should update. If I type here, this record should update like this. So when user is taking an action, particularly that particular set of statements, sorry, that particular action that should perform to that particular record. So now how we can create the concept of what you can say on change. Already we have written on change event handler at person component, but which is can say I am just writing here it changed. It changed is a property, and we are passing an event which is called, we can say, we can pass sir, we are passing an event which we can say user is typing that on change event handler. So let us give a call to the point. Anyway, we have already written name change handler, yes, but this should be an method now. This dot, why we did not written a name change handler? Have to. Okay, this dot name change handler passing that on change event additionally based on the particular person ID. Then once user starts typing on a particular input element, that corresponding statement or a name that should update. So previously you have given only one particular thing, event, and now you even have to pass its corresponding ID. Already we have written on change here, that's why we are not entering here. On change, change the property. That's why we are just given we are writing that function directly. So when user starts typing, for each and every time user is entering a character, on change event handler is given a call with that parameter value, and that is entering into its definition. Okay, now let us write. Okay, let us do one thing first. Let us first check it out. If I am entering the second record, the ID is matching with the main properties or not, we want to just check it out. That means these records. Of course, it just already we are getting a clarity because whatever the records are existing or whatever the records we are seeing, on that only we are writing. But how you want to check it out on change event handler when user is taking an action, whether that key, whether that ID is there or not. To check it out, now let us take const person index, and that equals to state dot state dot Mm, persons. Why persons? Because of line number 8, as we have a group of things, group of records right now. From the persons, using a find index, something a person. Here, what we are doing is user is typing in a particular second record or third record. That ID is matching find index or not. So if it is matching, okay, return that person ID, of course, triple equals to ID. Meaning of this statement is this ID is user entering, this ID is coming from this place. If both are yes matching, then save that ID in the person index. Once you have saved, now you just have to update. Okay, let us do one thing. Let us take const a single person. That means once that particular ID is matching, we got an idea. Yes, that particular maybe C3, maybe B2, maybe A1, or maybe D4 is matching that record. And that record you are going to fetch here. How you are going to fetch? You even can also make it here. Spread attributes concept of a state dot sorry state dot from the persons of person index. The meaning of this statement is you are kept ready. What is that ID is matching? From that ID in the given records, you are extracting that particular record. That is, you are just pulling out a particular record details and setting into a local variable of constant frequency. And then once you have pulled out that value, that total statement, then we want to edit that name right now. So person dot sorry, not capital person dot name, and that equals to event dot target dot value. So it just adjusted that whatever user is entering the value which is targeting to that particular input element is updating to the particular person record of name. Okay. Once it is updated, of course, from the group of records you have extracted and you just updated as a property. But now you have to reset into the records again. That is, you have from the group of records, you have pulled out and updated, and you have to reset into the group again. So to do that concept, then you can say const persons just take something state dot persons first point, all the records that you are accessing here. Once you have accessed all the records, from that of from all the records of into the particular indexing, you are just resetting a person. So what happens here? From this, you have extracted and done some action and again resetting into the group of records of particular indexing. After all these things that you need to adjust that state. So to adjust that state, finally set state persons persons colon persons. The meaning of this one is first user is typing something else that you have checked it with your ID and that is matching that index you have take here and from that records of particular index you're extracting and doing some updating in the name property and resetting into the what you can say group of persons of particular record. If I'm updating a third record that I'm pulling out here, I'm pulling out and updated in the name place. And after pulling out again, they have to just set insert it. So to insert it, we have done here account from the person using that indexing you have inserted. Setting that state, that is, if there is any change or deleting and something and actions we have already done. So we have to reset the total state. This is how you can create now a concept of two-way binding with all the records. If I am clicking on a particular record that is deleted, okay. If I am typing something, that particular record especially is updated because of event.target.value is given an access to the particular ID that is A1. Of course, as we have deleted one thing, it's C3 maybe, and then and this C3 is finding out and saving from that C3 is taking that record specially updating in that you are updating returning back to the statement you are extracting in the name property you are writing that value that again you are inserting into the records which is totally updated. If I type something and if I type something like this, so irrespective of the action, so irrespective of the record where user is typing, that particular record is updating. You even can also create not only name, even an age also, or any number of properties. What you have to do as you are taking something a separate function for name updation, the same you even can also maintain, but at a time you can't push all the things. Meaning what I say is, for example, if you want to write name and age also or something else, just take something name, finding that index, fetching that particular record. How can you pass at a time into the concept of a particular property event dot target dot value? You can't pass. So you have to take again a separate event handler, that is separate method of in maybe age change handler or something else. But don't worry, we have an option. Of course, you may think so if there are three name, age, email, mobile, and user is typing and you have to update that user is typing name age simultaneously wants to update to the particular record, then how? Yes, we have an option that is dynamically we can give multiple input elements at a time to particular one record that we are going to discuss further. Okay, anyway that we are going to discuss with the validations also, that is later issue. Here we got a clarity. First point is adding a number of records with just referring all the records using the concept of a map, extracting and displaying its results, and when user is clicking on it that action is done and deleting that particular record where user is typing that action is given a call. Where is that? That action is given a call and updating into the particular record itself. Right? Then so here we have done four operations. And okay, let us do now the concept of something styled dynamically also. Okay, we are working with the concept of something event handlers at the same time something now styles also. How we can make it something styles dynamically, it has to change based on the user actions. So to create the concept of styles dynamically, for example, if you observe defaultly, that means this is defaultly. We have something background color, white with glossy effect and border and something else. When we click on it, what happening? It is entering into the if condition now, obviously, because it is true, right? So you are displaying the person component now. Then once you are updating, sorry, once you are entering into this block, so whatever that style, BTN style, I just wants to update BTN style dot yes background color RGBA, make it something 0 0 0, and then again, I mean that is background color we have updated, and then color we are updating now. You can say mm, and if you even wants to make it something BTN style dot border, and then something else. Sorry. Then now default it is like this. When we click on it, we just change something. Of course, background color black, but with glossy effect. Something opacity we have done same, and with white color text at same time white color border also. That is how you are going to update when user is taking action. That particular button is also changing its style. Then now, for example, there is some matter and you want to make it something not only list of items, not only buttons, you want to even sorry, you want to even update a normal text or something else data also dynamically it has to update. So how you can update? Okay, you even can also go with classes, your own classes. Let us write. I am just writing, for example, for timing class red color F00, and even I want something else different, bold, and then font weight. we want to apply these styles, these classes dynamically. So, first of all, let us write. Not only in inline style, we even can also apply something classes dynamically. That is what we want to do. So, let something variable and that equals to square bracket. I'm just writing if condition if state dot percents dot a length is a built-in property which used to find out how many number of values or records we are having inside the given property. If the number of records are greater than 3, for example, then then I want to apply the classes into that. Just wants to apply something like this. The same way, if this dot state dot persons less than 3, greater than 3, less than 3, then it's not mandatory that you have to write these conditions. I am just writing a functionality based on the user actions. If the records are more than 3, apply this styling, or else apply this styling like this. Of course, you can also write else block. Then finally, these classes variable that should apply to the content. So, okay, I'm just applying. So, class name and that equals to what is that name? Classes, and both that should be work. So you have to use a join with separated space. By writing these classes, it's having two red and bold. Whenever user is taking an action, maybe not only to whenever user is taking an action, it may apply multiple styles at a time or a single style at a time. So then now defaultly why it is showing red color? Because of greater than 3 records. And we click on it 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, when we click on it's normal, it's equivalent to 3. We did not return a condition. When less than 3, right? So we are making something concept of bold. So you even can also the same way you even can also write the concept of hovering effect also. Okay. So to work with the concept of hovering, either you can go with the same concept of CSS, or you even can also work with the concept of a radium package also. There is one more concept we can say. Of course, it's your wish, whatever that package, whatever that module that you want to use. Either you want to apply with simple hovering effect here itself with the CSS as you know how to write. Yes, you can go with. Or else if you want to use a new, or else if someone have already used the concept of radium, a radium is a package which is supposed to highlight the content, supposed to highlight the what you can say content in properties or styling. So how you can do it? Let us write. To work with the concept of radium, you just have to install it, npm space install space hyphen save and radium. Let us wait. Once it is installed, we then tap. Let us wait. Once it is installed, we can write. And after completing of this one, we work with the concept of same two-way binding at the same time, multiple input elements, and with form validation, how we can create. And later, material UI concept. And of course, we have a few more concepts. Then, no need to hurry. Just let us plan one by one. Please wait. It's going to be completed. Let us do one thing. Anyway, it's taking almost off. It's completed, but we have just only a few more minutes now. We'll write that concept of radium in tomorrow's session, but don't leave, just wait for a few minutes. So, okay, let us, we have just few more minutes now. Let me write here. Once, okay, let me just show package.js file and Radium is installed. And then now to work with the concept of so import Radium from Radium package. Wherever that you want to use this styling of Radium, you can just import. Even at subcomponents also, you can import. Then later, at the end of the exporting place, you just have to write here Radium of app. Along with this, you can say because of we even wants to implement the Radium concept even for person also. That's why we are writing here also. Apart these things, we want to use, I mean, along with the Radium, there is a submodule like as a component in the React. We can say style root. This is important. If we don't use this one, there is no meaning of Radium. Of course, it won't work. So, style root. Additionally, then after all these things, in the return statement, you just have to use style root component and place that statement whatever we are having in between that style root. So these are the common statements first we have to search, and then we additionally can write style root. Okay, then we are ready to work with the concept of Radium and that statements how we can apply that styling dynamically we'll discuss in tomorrow's session. Okay, then so hope you have received the concept what we have done today. And anyway, even I have uploaded that files and already I have already shared the what you can say files whatever we have done up to the last points. Not today, up to the last points whatever we have done, I have already given an access to the concerned team member. They will forward that recording. Sorry, they will forward that files also to you. Even I will upload these files also, and not exactly today. Let us complete few more concepts and I will upload the latest one. Okay. So right then we'll meet tomorrow.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much and bye.